I've got a very important update for all XRP holders and quite a bit of news to get through today, including a conversation about the Fed, massive whale activity right now for XRP, XRP's whales moving to Coinbase. Are we looking at sell pressure? And a very bullish comment from the president, all of which I want to talk to you guys about in this video. You're going to want to stick around to the end on this one and tap the like button on your way in. Crypto's holding up fine today. If I just refresh the charts, you're going to see Bitcoin at 95K, but you're going to see XRP down below 220 again and inching a little closer to $2, which is excellent support. To be very clear, I think there's going to be huge gains for XRP in the future. In this video, we're going to look through how much, 10K, 100K, or 500K worth of XRP tokens. It's like 500,000 XRP tokens would be worth in the years 27, 2035, and 2045. I want to talk about this whale activity where we're actually seeing a whale sending 64 million to Coinbase and this comment by the president. So let's get into this one first. First off, yes, an XRP whale has sent $64 million worth of XRP to Coinbase. Is a crash to $2 imminent? Well, it wouldn't really be that surprising to me. Forgetting the whale moving to Coinbase, let's talk about this. I did a video earlier today warning about the week ahead, and now I'm getting back to my computer, and even a starker warning was talking about earlier the fact that, June and July still looking like we're going to get rate cuts. Well, May, we know at this next FOMC meeting, we're not going to get a rate cut. And for those of you guys that are holding XRP, and maybe you know what I'm talking about, maybe you don't, the federal interest rate, if we see the Fed lower the federal interest rate, we're likely going to see a rally in the stock market and in Bitcoin and in crypto overall, because markets like when the Fed is cutting rates. We are not getting a rate cut in just the next 2 days when we're going to have that FOMC meeting, which I'm going to be live streaming on this channel. Check it out. Subscribe for more. But in June, we had odds, like 60% chance that we were going to get a rate cut down 0.25%. Now the odds are down to 35%. There's a 63% chance now that in June, we're not going to get a rate cut. So that alone is kind of a bearish catalyst, and not bearish for the history of crypto, not bearish for the future of XRP, but bearish for the short term on risk on assets in terms of giving optimism for the rate cut to trigger a rally in the stock market for Bitcoin and for risk on assets like Bitcoin and XRP, among other altcoins. So the whale selling the 64 million, if they sell the 64 million, no guarantee, could certainly be just one catalyst that would bring us down to $2 level. But good news for XRP holders, looking at the chart, total market cap for cryptocurrencies holding up very well. And XRP has been holding up tremendously well at the $2 price range, both bouncing off, $2.10 and $2 a few times. Wouldn't be surprised to see us tap down to $2.10 or $2 again if we do break a little bit lower, which is a possibility. We could be starting to talk about, these lower wicks at like 174 or maybe even down to like 143. And I'm going to save any, $1 XRP talk for if we see some kind of greater sell-off in the crypto market, which frankly, I think Bitcoin can hold at least the 71K level, 65K level at worst case scenario, which again, I don't know if that's coming at this point. We saw a big enough crash for Bitcoin coming down 30%, which is a standard dip in these crypto markets. And we have so many people talking about the bright future for crypto, not just in 2025, which is supposed to be this bull market, but now into 2026 and 2027, which again, I don't really like to talk about bull market continuing to 2026, 2027 too much because I go by the 4-year cycles, but it is a possibility. And putting all that aside, there is an XRP ETF coming later this year. So regardless of this whale selling and regardless of the Fed pushing out the federal interest rate cut, there is a bright future ahead for XRP, for crypto, and for Bitcoin overall. And I do think the stock market is going to recover. So what kind of prices can we expect for XRP, and how much can you expect to make with 10,000 XRP or 100,000 XRP or, 500,000 XRP if you do have that? Well, looking at this article, I just want to share with you guys, ChatGPT is what they're looking at here. And bunch of sources kind of saying, okay, Grok and ChatGPT saying, yeah, $5.50 could happen by 2027, which is actually maybe shockingly bearish for some people out there. And by 2035, $12, 2045, $25. Now, I do believe that all these are possible, but I would argue that we might see this $5.50 XRP a lot sooner. I think we might even see it in 2025. At some point later this year, I expect crypto to rally. I don't think we have to wait until 2027 to see a $5.50 XRP. But, you know, according to ChatGPT, you're going to have a hard time making $1 million with 10,000 XRP. Gonna dive more into this. I think Black Sea might be diving more into this in a video later on. But point being, guys, if you're holding, any XRP at all, you're going to be wondering, what these future prices are. Well, right now, ChatGPT and Grok are saying maybe $25 by 2045. 2027, what is the scenario coming from where they give these price targets? Driven by a broader crypto adoption and potential utility in cross-border payments. We've already seen a lot of progress for XRP on that. We've been reporting on that. But then one of the more bullish catalysts overall is certainly on the regulatory front. Things are headed in the right direction for crypto, where there is right now a stablecoin that is being introduced in front of the Senate. It got passed through Congress. It's getting introduced to the Senate, and there's a vote coming up, which might actually get squandered because of the political games that are going on right now. On one hand, you have something very bullish happening. The president says, I want crypto. Crypto's important because if we don't do it, China's going to do it, So he wants to embrace it, right? But you also have him doing these crypto businesses, which people in the Senate, specifically certain members of one party in the Senate, don't really like that. And so this stablecoin bill that's coming out could be hitting a hurdle. But overall, I still think we're going to get a lot of pro-crypto legislation in the future. If I had to guess, I'd say the stablecoin bill still passes. Why is this important for XRP? XRP and Ripple, they want to come out with a stable coin, and they want it to be huge. They want it to be big. In fact, XRP even tried to buy USDC from Circle recently to eliminate their competition. XRP and Ripple have positioned themselves nicely. When the XRP lawsuit, the Ripple lawsuit's over, and when we get more positive things happening in the crypto space from a regulatory front, and we've already seen so many strides in the right direction because of this president and some controversy because of his conflict of interest. We are generally, though, headed in the right direction. Careful in the upcoming week. There's going to be some volatility at this next FOMC meeting. In just 2 days, there's going to be some volatility, probably great for trading. I would be looking for a long off of $2 for XRP as a level of support. Personally, that's not financial advice. Looking at the $2.10 level and $2 as a potential entry for a long position, maybe a possible short opportunity right now as we kind of get closer to the FOMC meeting. I say that with a very big grain of salt. Honestly, I'm generally looking for longs right now. A little hesitant on the short side of things lately because I think that we're getting closer to upward action, but careful for the Fed in this upcoming week. There's going to be some volatility on that. You can do some trading if you want to. If you want to sign up for Blowfin, it's one of the exchanges that me and Black Sea use all the time when it comes to trading, leverage trading, spot trading. We like this exchange a lot, and if you want to sign up, you can get up to a $5,000 deposit bonus when you do sign up using our link. Check it out if you haven't done so already, guys. That's all I have in this one. I wanted to give you all these updates on XRP. I'm not really that worried about this XRP whale. Really, what I'm more worried about is the Fed, and if we can hold the $2 level of support. I think we can. I'd like to see it. Certainly no guarantees, guys. There's certainly some profit taking ahead for some of these XRP whales, which is maybe why we see this big whale moving the $65 million to Coinbase, but crypto is generally headed in the right direction. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you agree, if you disagree, or what your thoughts are on XRP as a whole. That's all I got. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel. DC, I hold all. I got 2 videos for you right here if you want to check them out. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.